Good morning, YouTube. This is Chuck. As you can tell, I'm coming to you from my pickup. It's about 9:30 in the morning, and I just got back from taking my dog to the park, so the truck's nice and warm. Looked like a good time to sit in here and make a video. It's been a while since I made my Bigfoot Stuff number 5 video, so I thought I would make the next one in the series this morning. So, as I always say about the Bigfoot videos, and that is this is going to build on the last ones, the whole series. So if you haven't gone back and watched all of them, go back and watch all of them, number 1 through number 5, because they all interact and they all interlink. And this is the next one in the series. So today I want to talk about zapping and what it is, what it feels like, and as our understanding is why they do that. First of all, anybody who's looked into this subject at all, whether they've been actually doing field research or whether they've been just doing computer research and reading all the accounts on the various websites and stuff, they've at least heard of zapping. And most of you that have done any kind of field research and put any hours in the field have probably experienced it, whether you realized it or not. But what is it? Well, the short answer is we don't really know. We think we know. Our hypothesis, and as you've heard me say before, hypothesis is a fancy word for theory, which is a fancy word for guess. But our hypothesis is some type of a neurological connection, an energy connection, if you will. Call it an energy handshake. And so zapping can consist of anything from a slight tingle feeling all the way up to being paralyzed. The ones of us in our group, and there's actually quite a number of us in our group. There's a core group of 4 or 5 of us, and then there's another, probably all in all with everybody's family members and everything, there's probably 20 plus of us who've been out and experienced this. But anyway, all I can tell you, people experience it differently, and all I can tell you is how I experience it. What I can tell you is that when you are around the Sasquatch people and they want to let you know that they're there, they will kind of reach out and give you what we call a tingle. And none of the terms I use are scientific terms. They're just things that we talk about and the way we define things. With me, when they reach out and give me a tingle, and sometimes we call it a hi, we're here tingle, what it is, it's a little buzzy pressure feeling in my right temple. Other people may experience it differently, but that's the way I experience it. It'd be real easy to overlook it, and for a long time we did, and then we started realizing that the only time that we get this feeling is when the Sasquatch people are around and trying to get our attention. And it can be pretty subtle, and it's not always accurate, but for the most part it is. And what I do is when I get that feeling is I just ask either verbally. If there's nobody around, I do it verbally, and if there's other people around, I try to do it in mind speak. And I just say, hey, I felt that. If you're here, if that's you, and if you're here, make it stronger. Can you make it stronger? And a lot of times they will. Now, the reason for them zapping, there can be a number of reasons, and sometimes they want to transfer information to you. Sometimes they want to transfer information from you, a download, if you will. A lot of times it's just to get your attention, and if you tend to not pay any attention to them, they can nail you pretty hard sometimes. Every individual we found has a little bit different zap technique, and after a while, when you deal with a number of individuals that we deal with on a routine basis, you can get to the point where you can actually recognize an individual by how the zap feels. Now, we have a senior elder female who we deal with quite often, and it's my partner Kevin's teacher. And when she zaps you, you definitely know she's there, because the feeling is very distinct. And we've all been zapped by her at one point in time. Now, the people that that are still in the flesh and blood camp, the Bigfoot researchers. I don't really like the term researcher, but it's a readily understandable term that a lot of people use, so we still use it too. But the ones that are still looking for a flesh and blood creature, undiscovered ape species, if you will, they acknowledge that zapping exists as well. A lot of them believe that it is caused by low frequency sound. They project low frequency sound, and that's referred to as infrasound. And we used to think that as well, but what we found out is if there's a group of us there, they can single us out, and they can either zap us all at once, or they can zap us individually. And when you got somebody sitting on either side of you, and you get zapped and they don't, then that's probably not sound doing that. It's got to be something more specific and something they can direct, like directed energy. But when they start zapping you a little bit harder, the tingle is in your head, then they can bring that all the way up. I've gotten zapped so hard I thought my brain was going to explode. And when that happens, I kept my wits about me, and I said, "Hey, this is getting kind of uncomfortable. Can you turn it down?" And they did. But a lot of times it's like an electrical current feeling, and it'll spread. It can be just in your head, or it can be down through your entire body. When you're laying down, and sometimes they're trying to get your attention, like they wake you up in the middle of the night to either let you know they're there or give you information or whatever. They'll give what we call a half full body zap. And what that is that I'm a side sleeper, and if I'm laying on my left side, then the half full body zap essentially is my whole right side, the side that's up, will get a tingly electrical current feeling all the way from my head all the way down to my feet, just on that side. The other side won't get it. If I'm laying on my right side, then it'd be the left side that gets it. Just got a text, had to cancel it. Anyway, you can get that when you're sitting in a chair or standing up as well. It comes in a little differently. But the zapping can go all the way up to what we refer to as a power zap. A power zap can totally paralyze you. It won't paralyze you where you can't breathe, but it'll paralyze you where you can't move. And if you're in a chair, you feel like you've been nailed to the chair. And usually they're wanting to do something pretty important to you when they give you a power zap, or they're trying to get your attention for that reason. Zapping can also come in the form of just a chill. People that are hikers sometimes they'll experience a feeling of being watched, or the feeling of, hey, I should leave, I shouldn't be here, or just a big cold chill that just makes you shiver from top to bottom. That's all a form of zapping. Like I say, we don't know for sure how they do that or how they accomplish it. Maybe someday they'll tell us that. But as of this point, they have not. So that's just a little primer on zapping. And all of us have felt it numerous times, sometimes many times a night. One little story I like to tell is I was over at Crazy Town, and one night we had a female or an individual trying to communicate with us, and it came back, and it was a female. Her name was Ivana. And Ivana told us that she was a teacher of children, and she said it with the pause, teacher of children. Well, that night, after I went to bed in my van, I kept getting woke up, and I kept getting zapped. And every zap was a little bit different. And what I think was happening is, I think Ivana had her students come up and individually zap me, because each one felt a little bit different. And I was the training aid, the crash test dummy, if you will. And I've experienced that a couple times with the forest people. And I guess they realize that I don't mind that. It's kind of interesting when you know that that's going on. But I was zapped, I don't know, 8 or 10 times that night. And later on, they were making me feel cold. And I think they were just using me for the training aid. And so that's basically my little story about zapping. I don't want this to run too long, so I'm gonna shut her down for now. We'll come back with other episodes or other topics about the subject. So as I always tell you, be kind to each other, love each other. It's going to be a beautiful day today. Temperature's going to be up in the mid 40s. We're getting into a heat wave. We're going to be in the 50s. We got about 4 inches of snow. yesterday morning early, but it pretty much has melted off now, and we're able to get out and get around. Still a little cold to be out trying to make videos outside, which is why I'm in the truck. So take care of each other, love each other. We'll talk to you again real soon, and for now, I'll say peace out.